The woman arrested, charged, and convicted in the shooting death of Ajike Owens in Ocala in 2023 describes the moments leading up to her pulling the trigger.
She's pounding and she's pounding and she's pounding, and I just, I was terrified.
Susan Lorincz, in her own words.
If anything could have possibly gone wrong, it went wrong.
From the public outcry calling for her arrest.
So unfair. So unfair. This is not fair.
I've made such a huge mistake. That's all I kept thinking is, oh my God.
To the reason she did not take the stand in her own defense.
Is Susan Lorincz capable of manslaughter?
No. And I'm so, it just makes me sick what happened. I just never ever thought in a million years this would happen. And it breaks my heart.
From the South Florida prison, where she is serving a 25-year sentence for manslaughter, the Susan Lorincz interview right now on TV 20.
She says she's sorry, but that does not change the outcome for Susan Lorincz, the woman she killed. Ajike Owens, a mother of 4.
Lorincz filed an appeal to her 25-year sentence, and we'll have more on that later. A dispute over Owens' children playing too close and too loud to Lorinc's home led Lorincz to shooting Owens through her front door. Lorincz was found guilty of manslaughter and was sentenced last November. She's serving her time at the Homestead Correctional Institution in South Florida.
And that's where TV 20's Robert Bradfield sat down with her to talk about her conviction, her apology to Ajike and her family, and what she would have told the jury if she had taken the stand in her defense.
TV 20 did reach out to Ajike's family about this interview, but they declined to comment.
Here's TV 20's Robert Bradfield one-on-one with Susan Lorincz.
I was given 1 hour to interview Susan. None of my questions were given to her in advance. Over this next half hour, you will hear directly from her about why she shot Ajike, the letter she's written to Ajike's children, and what she considers missteps in the investigation. I first want to start here. You were convicted of manslaughter.
Yes.
Sentenced to 25 years.
Yes.
You are 61 now.
Yes.
You might be in your mid-80s before you leave here, or you might not leave here at all. How have you reconciled that?
Day by day, and going to a lot of services, leaning on God, getting into the Word.
Talk to me about that. You attended a church in Ocala, is that right?
Yes.
And you also sang in the choir?
Yes.
So as someone of faith, how did you end up here?
A very unfortunate series of events.
Take me back to June of 2023. What do you know specifically of that day?
I remember the kids screaming and yelling. I had a migraine headache. I was in my bedroom, shut everything down, closed curtains. Everything was dark. And when they finally left, I had to pack up a computer for my work to ship back to the home office. So I wanted to do that, and I didn't realize the children were still outside. There were the 3 boys, and they were very close to my sidewalk, and they had their skates around and stuff. I had fallen over a skate, and I said, guys, pick up your skates, and they were like, no. And I said, kids, pick up your skates and please leave. You're trespassing. You know you're trespassing. And the kid said, I'm going to kill you. If I can't kill you, I'm going to find someone to kill you. I had called the sheriff's department as soon as he threatened me. And I said, this is insane. This little kid is threatening me. And, just the way he said it made me so uncomfortable. There had been a multitude of threats prior to that. The children said they would set me on fire. And they took one of the no trespassing signs, set it on fire, and then put it on my porch, and they said, you're next. So when he said this, I'm like, oh my God, it takes a second. Squirt somebody with some lighter fluid, and they left the lighter fluid with the burnt sign. And I'm thinking, they're going to set me on fire. So I went back into the house, and I called. The first phone call dropped, and I had to call him back again. And so I told them what had transpired it was a really horrible connection, and they just said, wait. So I locked the bottom lock, and I waited. Next thing I know, I had to go to the bathroom, so I quick went to the bathroom. I had put my phone down where I left the computer, and I forgot where I put the phone. Banging on the door, banging on the door. I thought, oh my goodness, the cops are here so quick. They must have been in the area. And I said, 1 minute. As soon as I said 1 minute, she went on a tirade expletives and just horrible language, screaming at me, pounding on the door so hard. I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, you need to leave, you're trespassing. You were told not to come here by the sheriff's department. You know you're trespassing, you need to leave. And then she said, I'm gonna effing kill you. And I went, oh my God. And she's pounding and she's pounding and she's pounding. And I just, I was terrified.
There was a lot made during trial and even when detectives were interviewing you about the loudness of the pounding, and you had said multiple times, I'm fearful of my life. You still contend that?
Oh God, yes. It just made me so, it gave me a panic attack actually. She was pounding so hard. She had previously done this and had broken my door frame in December of 2022. So I was like, she broke the door frame once, she's gonna end up coming through this door.
You then made, though, the conscious decision to go into your bedroom and grab the gun from your trash can?
Yes.
And you said you couldn't find your cell phone?
Exactly.
So take me back behind the decision then of you going into your bedroom, taking the gun out of the trash can, possibly knowing that you could use it, and you did, you shot once.
Yes, once. I was aiming for the top left corner of the door, and she pounded so hard that I could hear the frame crack, and it did, it splintered the frame. And when she did that, I went like this, and I pulled the trigger. Because even in my questioning and the police report, I said, I don't remember firing the gun.
Coming up, Susan Lorincz addresses what she considers missteps in the investigation and the proof she says she has that Ajike Owens' children lied about what happened. Susan Lorincz says she was within weeks of moving to a new property when she shot and killed Ajike Owens in the summer of 2023. She talks about that in this portion of the interview, and she answers my question, is Susan Lorincz a racist?
I just know the gun went off, and I heard it. She said, ow. And I thought, oh crap, I hit her. And I thought, how in God's green earth did I, aim for that left corner and I hit her? I couldn't figure things out.
Was the upper left corner more of a warning shot?
Yes, absolutely.
So you did not intend to shoot her and hit her?
No, never.
Well, I believe you also testified or told detectives you did not go outside at that moment, but you called 911 again.
Yes.
And you said what?
I told them that I had hit her. I said she was pounding on my door, she was threatening to kill me, and I shot her. And I knew I shot her because she said, ow. And I thought I grazed her somehow. And I couldn't imagine where that shot went. I never even saw the shot. I mean, I was just so terrified. I remember I was shaking, I was crying, it was horrible.
Is Susan Lorincz capable of manslaughter?
No. And I'm so, it just makes me sick what happened. I just never ever thought in a million years this would happen, and it breaks my heart. I mean, I don't know, I can't take it back, I can't replace her, I can't say, I did an apology to the family, and I'm still so sorry, and I know her kids are without a mom, and I know that it's been hard on her mom, I know everybody's hurting. I wish I could change things.
Some people have also asked, why not wait for the cops to arrive instead of shooting her?
Because when I called, when the kids said they would set me on fire, the Marion County Sheriff's Department never showed up. I ended up having to go there, show them the sign, show them the lighter fluid days later when I finally had a break in work. So I thought, they can come, they cannot come.
There might be people, though, that have noisy neighbors. You live on the bottom floor, you might hear the people above you. You might hear kids running down the hall as well. But is that enough to grab a gun from a bedroom?
No, that's not why I grabbed my gun. When she said, I'm going to kill you, I firmly believed she was going to kill me. That's why I grabbed the gun, because she had shouted that at me.
Did you ever consider leaving that neighborhood?
I had sold a horse, got a mortgage, and I was in the process of buying a small place. I wanted out. I didn't want to be there anymore, and it would have closed within a couple weeks.
Why should we listen to you now?
Because I have proof that the children lied. And again, when you're dealing with young children, you know that they're going to make mistakes. He told his mother I hit him. So I understand when she first came to that door and she was raging, I did not know what happened. I mean, to me, I thought she was having a psychotic break, or she was high on something, or she was just, I just thought, oh my God, what is going on here? When I found out he lied to his mom, I'm thinking, she came home from work, she was tired, all she wanted to do was put her feet up, and he tells her, I hit him. When the prosecutor asked the child, where were you hit? He said, oh, she never hit me. That's in his testimony. And the prosecutor knew he dropped the charges for assault battery. Then the children lied about their location. He said he was right next to his mother when she was shot. He was 60 feet away at the mailboxes.
Do you think that there were any missteps in the investigation?
Oh yes, many. I think once those children had said that it was a racial matter, they're like, oh my God, she's a racist. And that's just not true. I was married to a Middle Eastern man who was Muslim. My nephew is part black. I've had black friends since I was 5 years old. I grew up in Passaic, New Jersey, very, very diverse, demographic. And I have black friends here in jail, and I'm like, oh my God, it's not true. It's emphatically not true.
Susan Lorincz is not a racist.
No, no, sir. Not at all.
Still ahead, we ask Susan Lorincz about her decision not to take the stand in her defense, and if race played a part in her decision to fire her gun. Susan Lorincz says on advice from her attorney, she should not take the stand. She says she regrets that decision, and she explains what she would have told the jury.
It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. It's such a lose-lose situation. No one's won, no one, it's just, like I said, it was a horrific series of events, and just like if anything could have possibly gone wrong, it went wrong.
If you had an opportunity to go back and you were reliving this moment in real time again, what would you do differently?
I was supposed to go out earlier in the evening, and I said, no, I really don't feel well. I would have left. It's tearing me apart. I killed someone. At the end of the day, she's not here anymore. Her kids don't get her. She missed all the events in their lives, weddings, graduations, all that other stuff, and her kids are going to miss her.
Do you think there might be a time where you might want to sit down and write to them?
I have written to them. I've taken a restorative justice class, so we've been working on our letters.
Have you sent it to them?
I don't know if I can. So I would have to get information if I can send them.
Talk to me now also about the trial. Were you satisfied with your defense team?
No.
Why?
My attorney said, I strongly recommend you do not testify. And had I testified, I could have told them when she broke the doors. And that was the one thing that the jury got hung up on. And I had two other witnesses who would have corroborated, we knew the door was broke, and they were never called.
And the door being broken, you contend what? That she could have easily gotten in?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Because the actual frame of the door was not solid.
You regret not taking the stand?
Yes.
Which then could have opened you up to cross-examination, but at the same time, you would have been able to tell your side of the story.
Exactly.
Have you had a discussion with the defense attorney regarding that decision?
It was very brief and terse.
Terse, what'd you say?
I told her it was reprehensible that she gave me the warning.
Was there a time during trial that you thought that you might be found guilty or not guilty?
I honestly did not know what was going to transpire.
I think it was at sentencing, after you had sat down, you had put your hands on the table and put your hands in your face. What were you thinking in that moment?
I've made such a huge mistake. That's all I kept thinking is, oh my God.
You also at sentencing talked about your past, including surgeries, and if we can maybe discuss this about sexually being abused. Do you think that played a part in who you are now?
Yes. The fear factor. She acted like my father, and it just triggered that. I felt like a child who was going to get beat, and my father was very brutal. I mean, he put me in the hospital, and it wasn't fun. And when the prosecution said, oh, you could have locked the door, My father kicked in more doors than I can count. And if we were under the bed, he would flip the beds over and grab us. So to me, there was no safe place.
Our viewers may be watching this saying, why are you giving her an opportunity to speak? And again, for that, you would say what?
Because I want the truth to come out. I just want people to know the truth, that I am not a racist, that I did not do this on purpose. This was not, a premeditated thing. I had no animosity for this woman.
You say no animosity, but police had been called to your place numerous times before. We have the body camera video too. There's got to be some animosity.
I try not to hold it against a person. I've made my fair share of mistakes, and I wouldn't want somebody to retain anger against me. Like I said, we all have bad days. Just get over it and move on, because if you hold on to that, your life's going to be miserable.
But some say you did not move on because you grabbed the gun. You had situations with her children before. Was this a lapse of judgment in your part by taking the gun?
I, honest to God, thought she was going to kill me. And it was fear. It was fear. I feared for my own safety.
Do you think this case also revolved around race? And what do you say to those who say this was a white woman who shot a black woman?
I'm so very sorry. That's how it happened. I'm white, she's black. You cannot pick how you are born. It is what it is, but it was not because she was a black woman. It's because she said, I'm going to kill you.
Coming up next, the status of Susan Lorinc's appeal as Ajike Owens' family focuses on a nonprofit to help families impacted by gun violence.
We're wrapping up Robert's Susan Lorincz interview, and we're joined by Robert now. Robert, you reached out to Ajike's family as well as the state attorney's office. What kind of response had they given you about this interview?
Well, I can tell you the state attorney's office did send us a statement, and they told us specifically they did not call the children as witnesses during this trial. They also did not introduce any of the children's deposition testimony as evidence, and that was something also that Susan said she found that they lied on their depositions as well. She takes issue with that. We also reached out to the public defender during Susan Lorinc's trial. She says she has no comment. And again, Ajike's family also told us they did not want to respond to this interview. But we did hear from her mother after Susan's sentencing. That was November of last year, telling us the apology Susan gave during that sentencing was not sincere.
Susan's apology was a last-ditch attempt to save herself. It wasn't sincere. She never showed remorse.
Robert, Ajike's family did start a nonprofit to help families cope with losing a loved one to gun violence. Do you have any updates at all on that nonprofit?
Yeah, we did speak with Pamela Dias. That was back in June when she announced this nonprofit as well. Again, she created what's called Standing in the Gap Fund. The goal there is to raise $3.5 million for families impacted by gun violence over the next 5 years. She also explained specifically how she can also be a support system for those families.
It's healing. It relieves some of the stress, of the burden I carry in my heart, knowing that I can be a support system to someone in need, because I know firsthand how it feels. And to know that I am doing something, it's never going to take away the pain or the grief, but it's going to support families where they have one less thing to worry about.
We also want to let you know Susan did file an appeal, but the public defender assigned to her case asked to be removed. So the judge says, Susan, you're going to have to go this alone right now.
Okay, thank you.